I have like a little, what they think is like a lesion on my bone from trauma. I got in like a little motorcycle accident, riding like a little dirt bike. So they saw that and they wanted to get a better look at it, so they did a full body bone scan, found this thing, which was, I want to say it was like 4-point-something inches at the time, and so we just kept watching it, and got some recent images right before the draft just to have it in case people asked, and the thing was almost a foot long. It was 11 inches down the whole shaft, and so it's a unique ordeal. Yeah, it's a unique ordeal. Yeah, the MRIs are like, they're scary. They're real unsettling. So,
I know that people have talked about it for a long time, but now I guess you just want to go ahead and clear it up, make a decision, and go on with everything.
Yeah. I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to make sure that it was the truth. I'm not saying that anybody would lie, but rumors get started, and people can say anything. So I wanted to make sure it was from my mouth and from my family and Coach Robe and from us. And so, I mean, what Tim Buckley wrote is, I mean, that's it. That's the story. So
now, if you didn't have the leg, the cyst, would you think with just the elbow injury you would have been able to come back and play this year?
No, it definitely would have, maybe bumped it up a little sooner. But the leg surgery, like I talked about in his article, actually, the surgery we did with the rod was able to cut down a lot of the rehab time from the other surgery, which we thought was the bone canaling and the grafting and all that. That would have been, you got to relearn how to walk, run. You literally spend 3 months bedridden. You can't put pressure on it. And so that's why we waited so long to do anything, because obviously you don't want to do that. So we were able to find this surgery, and Dr. Marco did an incredible job, and he still thought that there was going to be some downtime as far as non-weight bearing. But he came straight out of surgery and told my parents, and he was like, it went great. He'll be up by the night. And I was up using the bathroom. I had a walker, but I was able to put weight on it immediately, which is remarkable. And so it wasn't as bad. But even if I didn't have it, I mean, we're still talking, and maybe instead of it being conference tournament regional, it was still middle to late of the season. So it's still you're talking about maybe 30 innings, maybe at the most, without the leg. So we didn't feel like that was worth it.
So what's the official injury
for
you? Like
the leg?
Yeah.
It was it wasn't even an injury. It was something I've had for years. I had it in high school. It's a simple bone cyst in my left femur. At first, when we found it initially when I was young in high school, obviously the scare is cancer. When you see something like that, a tumor in the bone, anybody mentions the word tumor, you think cancer. So we had to cancel that out initially. And then it went to a rare bone disease, which is called fibrous dysplasia. And that actually, essentially just, you get cysts like what's in my leg, you get all over your body in the long bones. So like the humerus, the femurs, the fibia, tibia, things like that. And so they weren't sure at first if it was that or if it was a simple bone cyst. And Dr. Marco told us that the only way to officially know was to do a bone biopsy. But that in itself is affecting the integrity of the bone, because they have to drill into the bone, pull the liquid or the cyst, whatever is in there, the lesion, pull it out and test it. And so at that point it was there, and it was scary. But like he explained to us, he said it's kind of like a big tree, an old tree with a hole in the middle of it. Still a very strong tree. I mean, the femur is the strongest bone in the body. And so he was like, your bones, maybe is not as strong as mine or your dad's, but it is still very, very strong. So we kind of played that, I guess went on the cautious side of not doing a major surgery like that as young as I was. And so he advised that I not play football. He told me I could, but he was like, I can't guarantee you that you get a helmet to the left thigh, that thing's not going to break. And so me and my parents decided that at that point I knew that this is what I wanted to do for a career and pursue. And so I didn't play football my senior year. We kept up with it, kept getting regular MRIs and checks and things like that. When I signed here, we informed them, we showed them all the images, tried to stay away from like major jumps or falling or anything like that, just to kind of be on the safe side. But I mean, it never bothered me. Never bothered me through high school. Never kept me out of a game. Kept me from performing to, my capabilities. And I mean, literally the only reason we found it was we were just getting images just to have recent images of the draft. We thought it would be either A, calcified and healed up, because that's what the simple bone cysts are supposed to do, especially when you reach 19, 20, 21. They're supposed to kind of just go away. They kind of heal themselves. And so we got the recent images, and it literally doubled in size. So that was different, unique. So it's definitely, it opened my eyes when one of the world's leading bone oncologists, Dr. Marco in Houston, looked at me and he was like, I've never seen anything like this. So, I mean, he deals with stuff like that all the time, and he said, I've only had one other case. It was a female around your age that had a simple bone cyst that had not got rid of itself. So that was kind of the juggling act of trying to figure out what surgery to do. Should we do it? Should we wait some more? And I was just, A, I had some time, and B, I was just tired of waiting, man. We had played the when's it going to go away? Hopefully it gets better. We don't know. So I was just ready to get rid of it. And so we came up with the rod, and he did an incredible job, and that rod will be in there forever now. So it's like, he said, it's like putting rebar in cement. So I'm all good.
You would delay the surgery until you were out of a sling, out of a cast for your elbow?
Yeah. I want to say my arm surgery was July 13th. My leg surgery was October 23rd. Yeah.
So you could handle the crutches?
Yeah, that, and it got pushed back. He had some things that he had to do. It got pushed back. It actually kind of coincided with the flood in Houston. And so that actually pushed it back a little bit. It was supposed to be, I think, toward the beginning of October. We had to push it back a few weeks because of all the water. So.
When did you first know last year that something's not right?
That's the weird thing, man, is I had never had arm problems ever my whole entire life. And so started having some forearm issues, like some tightness, uncharacteristic of what I normally have. But the thing was, that was tough for me to kind of feel out what was really going on. Is I really couldn't compare it to anything, and I could still control the ball. My velo was, down at maybe a mile an hour or two, but it was still pretty good. Some games better than others, but I could control the ball, I could make all my pitches, and I was getting outs. And so it was just tough for me to, in my head, be like, something might really be wrong when I was pitching fine, the best in my career here for the first half of the season. And so I would say as the season went on, it definitely got worse. I really didn't know anything was wrong until I got the MRI, and Dr. Dugas in Birmingham told me that it was a partial tear. Because I had visits with Dr. Duvall here, our doctors here. They went through all the UCL protocols, all the tests, everything. He was like, "You feel great. Like, it feels fine." I'd had no pain through any of the tests, and so he thought maybe it was just some flexor tendon stuff in my forearm, because that's really where it was. It was more on the top of my forearm. And then, like I said, it kind of progressively got worse. And then at the conference tournament was obviously pretty bad. That was probably what I was throwing around 80 at that point. But again, I could still control it, so it was just a weird thing. And like I said, I've never had shoulder, elbow, forearm, nothing. I could just throw, and I always felt good. And so it was tough for me to compare it and try and figure out what exactly was going on. So
for most people, having a redshirt season, it'd be a really tough decision no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
For you, it seems like it was rather easy because obviously you know what the bigger picture is.
Yeah. No, it's still tough, man. I've never been hurt, never really missed anything. Other than my senior year of football, which I wish I could have played, but because of this, but it's tough right now, just kind of not being able to do what everybody else is doing, the running and stuff. People, you're in the middle of practice or in the middle of the fall, you're like, God, this sucks, I really don't want to go run a mile. But then when you can't do it and everybody else is suffering, you don't feel very good about yourself. So it's different. I'm gonna get used to it though, and I'll still be able to help the young guys and help coach in whatever way I can.
When was the last time you didn't play a sport?
Whew. I don't know. When can you start playing sports? 5, 4? I don't know. I played flag football and t-ball. I mean, everything. There hadn't been a year where haven't played something or been getting prepared for something. So, I mean, right now is better. I would say the months after surgery, especially after my arm surgery, and then waiting, the next few months for my leg, and then the month or so after that was miserable. But right now, I mean, I guess I'm kind of back in the preparing for something. So my sights are set on next season, and it's been a slow process. It'll continue to be a slow process. But I mean, at least I have something to work towards at this point.
How is the rehab process? What do you got going on right now?
Right now, last week started throwing a little bit, started light toss. So like today I got to throw. It's 60 feet at 50%, so it isn't much, but
feel good at least.
No, yeah, it does. It feels good. It feels good. So it kind of works. It started at 45 feet, works to 60, and kind of like 15 to 20 feet, and you go every other day. So you'll do 45 feet, 25 throws at 50% twice, and then you move on. There's about probably 10 or so steps. It takes about 2 months to get through it, and that's just preparing to get after it. Like, that's not even getting on a mound or doing things like that. So it's a long deal, but it'll be worth it. So
Is it a blessing in disguise in a way that all of this is happening while your family as a whole is now in town?
yeah, it's really crazy how God can make things happen. So I know when I was coming out of, I don't know if I was coming out of high school or if it was my freshman year here, whenever HUD got hired, I think I was still in high school at that point. And it came down to HUD and Coach V. And obviously my dad was with Coach V. And so at that point we were kind of playing, obviously this is home for us. I was committed. I was coming here. And so it was like, this would be awesome, if Coach V can get it and we can all go, it'd be cool. Obviously he didn't get it. He went to Monroe where he loved it. Coach HUD did a great job in his tenure here, and now Coach Napier's here, and my dad got an opportunity. So it's crazy how it comes full circle. So
What do you see as your role this year?
I literally every day I ask Coach Robe, I'm like, what do you need me to do today? When the spring started, I walked in his office and I was like, I've never been hurt. I've never really missed anything. I've always been in the thick of things, and I don't know what to do with myself. So I need you to tell me what you want me to do this year, day in and day out, through the week. If you need something, if you need me to run errands, you need me to help with practice, do whatever. So right now I show up and I do my rehab, I do my throwing, and then whatever he needs me to do, I do.
It's good to at least be out here with the guys and around and
Yeah.
just kind of feeling a little bit more normal.
Yeah, it definitely is. I missed some time in the fall with that leg injury, a little less than I thought I was going to miss. So I was still able to kind of get out here on crutches and stuff, which was good. No, but it's definitely good to at least be moving around. Not released to run yet, but I can kind of walk around with him.
Which leg is it? Is it plant leg or push-off leg?
It's push-off leg. So which he actually told me that you're lucky that it wasn't your plant leg. He said if it was your plant leg over and over and over again, he said it probably would have had problems with it to a certain extent. So yeah, it's a crazy deal, man. That X-ray and that MRI is, he explained it kind of like a PVC pipe with a tennis ball in it, and that tennis ball is the cyst. And it just kind of like slowly eats away at the inside part of the bone, and so you can see on the X-ray. I mean, it looks paper thin on the inner part of my thigh, and so obviously it's not paper thin, but it's a disturbing image for sure.
Is this a metal rod?
Yeah. It's I want to say it goes the entire length of my femur. So they go in from the top, from the corner. I have 3 scars. So I have one that's like about 3 inches in length, kind of on the left side of my butt cheek. That's where they go in through the top of the femur. What they did is they drilled in, and they used like a reaming tool. And so they reamed the whole inside canal the bone out, take the cyst out, and the reaming tool actually shaves some of the inside cortex to make the body think that it was broken, and so it starts the healing process faster. So that they ream it out, they shove the rod in there, they put a screw from the left side in, like right across above my knee, and then they go like at an angle into my hip, into like the knob of the femur. So it's I have a picture of that too, and that's pretty impressive that they can do that, and the fact that I was up that night is mind-boggling.
You been on a plane since this happened?
No, I know that's what I asked them. I said, are y'all gonna give me a card or something? Yeah, I think they give you like a card saying that you have metal objects in your body. Yeah, I'm sure TSA won't like that very much when I'm beeping. So
Right there.
yeah, so we'll see though.
Thanks, guys.
All good.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gunnar.
Yep.